All right, so your first section is going to be your favorites. You're going to go over the files. When you get over to files, you're going to mainly see either your C drive or your main disk drive and a sub drive if you have one. I normally have C and F as my drives, and here are all of the favorite files that I favorited. And this is such a workflow hack because I don't have to skim through Maschine to find what I need. For those of you who know and use this software, you know how difficult it could be to find your files. Well, right here where it says packs, here are all my splice samples. Right here where it says tracklib, here are all my tracklib samples. We're gonna go back to packs because I have a pack that I want to show you that we can do. We're gonna go to Cymatics Life Ambient Recordings Part 1. And all you're gonna do is hit right click, add to favorites. That's basically how you make your favorites, and it just added it right there. Tip number 2, chop up your drum loops. All right, and for this, we're gonna make it very simple. Go to the Conundrum pack. Go to drum loops, and I'm just gonna choose the first one. I'm gonna change this to an audio file. And we're gonna go to sampling, and you wanna go to the record section. Now it's already on the first pattern, so you just choose a different pattern or different pad rather. And let's just say we wanna sample this for 4 bars, right? You're gonna keep it in sync, hit the right arrow if you have a MK3 or a Maschine Plus. And you are going to turn this to internal, so it records all of the internal sounds. This makes your job a lot easier. We don't have any externals attached to this, so you want to do internal. And all you're going to do is hit start and then hit restart. And as you can see, this made a brand new WAV file for us. So you're gonna go hit slice, and then you're gonna go to grid, which I'm already on, hit apply, and hit group B, and hit OK. Now, before you do anything else, hold down the mute button and mute the group that you sampled this from so you won't have your sample playing twice. Now, this is gonna be the part where it gets fun because I can do stuff like this. Or I could do, I have way more flexibility with this sample now. If I wanted to, I can do that. If I wanted to get rid of this drum fill at the end, I can. You have a lot more flexibilities with this, and even if you wanted to, you could change the snare or the kick at will because these are now individual pad slices in your machine. So this makes your job way easier. Point number 3, humanize your drums. I want you to picture a drummer and his drum set. He is not hitting the snare or the kick at the same velocity each and every time. Right here, you have the kick, you have your snare, and then you have the kicks again. Do you see how these two kicks are together? The normal kick is not going to be at 127 both times before it hits the snare. It's going to be a soft kick, then a harder kick right before the snare. This is what I mean by humanize the drums. So let me let you listen to how this sounds. A lot of us, when we get into electronic music, we forget that when people made music back in the 70s and the 60s, they didn't have what we have. So they needed a real drummer. So people naturally are going to want a real rhythm, and you give them that real rhythm by humanizing your drums. Point number 4, start your sample cut on the 2 count. All right, so let's load up a sample real fast. So that's on the 1 count, right? That's when the sample starts at go 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead of starting at the 1, we'll start at 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right now we're gonna play 2 and 3, and let me show you how that sounds. This works really well on melodic samples that don't have drums. So you have a little bit more flexibility to have some creative ideas where you can start chopping here, and it gives your sample or your use of the sample a much different flavor than everybody else's. Tip number 5, study the project section. So right here, let's play it. So right here, you can see how they layered out the entire song. You can see what kits were used. You can see what instruments are used. You can see everything. And it shows you where the instruments are humanized, the kits are being utilized in a certain way. In fact, you can see that there's different patterns when it comes to some of the kits. So let's just say we start at the beginning. So not only can you edit the projects, it gives you a feel of how does this look, and it gives you a little bit more confidence that because it was done in this system, you can do it too. And this can help you generate some ideas yourself. So if you have expansion packs, go listen to the projects of them. That's what they're there for. They're there to keep you inspired. Point number 6, use Maschine as a VST with FL Studio, Ableton, or any other DAW that you can. Now Maschine works very well as a VST, and one of my favorite things that it can do as a VST is that I can drag and drop samples from Splice this simply. You cannot do this in the Maschine software, but you can do this as a VST. And the beauty part of this is you can save this file and reload it up on Maschine, and the same files you dragged and dropped as a VST, it will be on the DAW side when you upload that same file. So this is a beautiful hack that I think you should use, because for this, it helps me stay motivated when I'm getting frustrated that Maschine can't do this, it can't do that. When I find things that work, it makes me want to keep using the software even more, because I'm like, okay, this is a decent workaround and it's not so hard to use. Tip number 7, pan your instruments. So right here, you can see that my drums are already panned out. I got my kick panned to the left and my snare panned to the right. But I also took the time to pan out the sample as well in the same fashion. The 1 count on the left, the odd counts on the left, the even counts on the right. So let's hear it. What this does is this creates more of a realistic feel to your beats. Not only do the drums give more of a natural rhythm for the head bop, but when you do this for your actual instruments, especially if one instrument is focused on the left and focused to the right, it gives more space in your song, and that space is often good if you want to put an artist there, so this way the artist doesn't feel like they have to compete with all the instruments. Think of a stage, right? You're going to have your drummer on one side, your guitarist on another side, your bassist on another side. You're going to have people standing in different positions so that they can give more of a feeling of the song, while the lead singer or the lead vocalist is dead center. Number 8, use clips for your drum fills. This is such a good technique because it leads in your song with so much force when done right. So I'm going to play 8 bars and you're going to feel the drum fill with the clip, and I'll show you why it's so important. Now, as far as the how-to, all I did was I unchecked these little number signs, and it gives me the ability to stretch this out as much as I want. So I made this a quick 2 count, but if I want to make it just a 1 and moved it over like this, I could have. So let me show you how that would sound. See? Still gives a good effect. So clips are very good. I use it for drum fills, but you can use this for melodies. You can use this for practically anything to increase your workflow on Maschine. Tip number 9, use note repeat. Let's just say you're not the best with rhythm, right? You hit note repeat on one shots. Let's just say you want to do a rhythm of 1 out of 8, right? You hit record. Just holding down the note for your hi-hats, you already got a rhythm. And let me show you something. Do you see how just how we was holding this down, not every velocity was the same? So you have that ability. Now, the reason why I'm saying you want to do that is because let's pretend we didn't do that, right? Undo. Let's take off record. Let's say you wanted to, while doing that, go to 16, go to 32, 64, 4, you could alternate between these, and you could actually record this and make it work for you. Now that's with normal. Let's say you want to do triplets. That was 1 out of 16 triplets. You could do, and let me record it so you can see how that looks. So right there, you just did triplets. That's simple. And that's just from using note repeat. So note repeat is a good tool if you want to create something and maintain your workflow, because not knowing how to do something and trying to learn how to do something on the fly can take away from your creativity. But if you can get the idea out quick enough, your creativity is still flowing, and this will only help you in the long run. Last and certainly not least, please, 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 please stop chopping your samples in keyboard mode. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You want to go to slice, you go to grid, hit apply, hit OK. This is what you don't want to do. Do you see how this walkthrough is? Now, if I hit the pads, nothing. And play, we got something here. I would have to go to keyboard mode and bring the octave all the way down just to have this ability. Versus, let's undo this. If we hit apply and hit a new group pattern, now automatically we have that available to us. That makes life way simpler to do it this way. Now, if you want a full in-depth beginner's course on Maschine for free, then I suggest you check out the homie Creative D Will. He has a 1-hour beginner's course right here. You can check it out. This video will help you get through everything in Maschine and everything you need to know. Check it out.